Oh, hey there, everyone. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun. And today I'm in a different setting because I'm actually piecing and I'm not sitting at my long arm. I recently joined a block of the week. It's called Mailbox Quilts. And you can check it out at mailboxquilts.com. And the premise is every week they send you a block or two. I think sometimes I get 2 blocks. But I'm putting my shoe back on because it's cold down here, but I can't sew if I have a shoe on. I forgot. Oh, Mailbox Quilts. So mailboxquilts.com. Every week they send you like a little kit for a block or 2. And this one's called Mailbox Baskets. So they're all basket blocks. So this is one. I'm working on one here. This one was English paper piece, so I had to do it all by hand, and then I have to applique it on. And I don't do handwork if you follow me on social media. Hey, you should if you don't. Adam So Fun, SEW, and Facebook and Instagram. But I don't do handwork, so I'm kind of excited to have a block done. But I was getting ready to piece these, and they're small blocks, and they're small pieces. I mean, little tiny half square triangles. So when I was piecing these, I decided, hey, I'm going to change thread. I'm not going to use my normal thread. And I thought, why not talk about thread? Why not have a little thing? You know, I talk about thread a lot because I'm a thread junkie, but usually it's long arm related. And in this case, let's talk about piecing, because I do see this question a lot on the social media sites. You know, can I piece with this, or can I piece with that, or what should I piece with? Again, you piece with whatever you like to use. If it works for you and it's working for you, continue to do it. Don't let anyone tell you you're doing it wrong. But I'm going to give you some reasons why you might change it up a little bit. And if you're doing something, you're like, oh, you know what? Adam said maybe if I do this, it'll make my piecing look a little bit better. Try it out. You don't have to. I mean, I'm just giving you info. Just like the video last week when we were talking texture. I'm just giving you info to think about whenever you're going to do something. So I'm actually using Bottom Line thread. It's one of my favorite threads to use on the long arm. I love it in the bobbin because those bobbins last forever. If I use it on top, you don't really see it because it's a 60 weight, it's thin, it doesn't lint very much. So I really like that thread. My normal piecing is going to be Masterpiece. I like to use a cotton thread, and then there's where it comes in, the debate. Do you use a cotton thread when you're piecing cotton fabric? Do you use a poly thread? Can you use a poly thread? Can you use a rayon thread? What about silk? You can use whatever you want. Don't let people tell you what to do. You can use whatever you want. There's reasons that you might use different ones. This is Masterpiece. My cone's almost gone. I have to order another one. But this is a cone of Masterpiece. This is my favorite color, 152 Bisque. I use this all the time. This is my main piecing thread. I use this in my bobbin and I use it up on top. And it looks very nice. Again, I like a cone, and some of you are like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to use a cone. Like, I'm never going to use that much thread. I basically use this to piece everything with. So I go through cones. And when I finish a cone, it's like the best day of my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been piecing a lot. But again, this is smaller pieces, so I wanted to use a thinner thread to help me in my accuracy of those blocks. Lots of half square triangles, lots of bias sewing on this. So this is going to help these things get a little more accurate. So I am using Bottom Line. Now, I'm going to tell you I love Bottom Line, and I'm going to show you how you know I love Bottom Line. And you're going to show you how I know you love, or I'm going to show you how you know that I love this color. This is my favorite color, Bottom Line. This is 623 silver. Let me make sure. Yes, 623 silver. I have it in a cone. This just came off my long arm, which is why I've been piecing using my spool. We'll talk about that in a minute. But here's my cone. There's my spool. And here's the mega cone. I was loading bobbins the other day with this, and I was like, how am I going to do it? Luckily, I had a thread stand, which we'll talk about. But yeah, so you can get these in huge cones, regular cones, spools. But depending on how you're going to use it, we have to kind of change things up a little bit. Again, second part of the video, the second part of the topic. So I'm going to put this away so you can see other things. So back to piecing thread. So we have Masterpiece, 100% cotton, 50 weight. Bottom Line, poly, 60 weight. when I piece with this, when I piece with Bottom Line, those pieces are gonna fold over. There's less bulk where the seams meet up, or where the stitches, you know, where you're making those stitches. Everything's gonna lay a little bit flatter, a little nicer. So when I am doing small piecing like this, it helps everything be a little bit more accurate because I don't have the little bump from the seam. And we've all seen it, like, you know, if you use something thick. And I'm gonna take a picture. I'll place it in right here. But I made these two little pieces. And I know you can't see from there. Let's see, I'll hold them up. So the red and black was pieced with the Bottom Line. This one with, what is it, mustard and teal, was pieced with the masterpiece. And I can feel the difference. In the seam, I pressed them the same way, in the same spot on my pressing mat, so everything was the same. I can feel this seam a lot more than I can feel this one. This one just feels like it lays a little more flat. So you get flatter work, but it's also more precise because you don't lose that little bit from where that stitch is laying. A lot of people will paper piece. I do, you know me, if you follow on social, I do a lot of paper piecing, and sometimes we'll paper piece with this because those seams are just going to lay a little flatter because, you know, you're always pressing those seams over and they get a little bulky in places. So Bottom Line has a really great thread to kind of alleviate that. The other time you can use Bottom Line, if you're someone who takes a little extra bite in your 1/4 inch, this will help. You might take that little extra bite, but this will help because you can fold it right over on itself. So it doesn't, you know, you're not getting the extra bit going over the thread here. So if you are someone who takes that extra bite, try a Bottom Line. See if that helps and makes your piecing a little more accurate, because it can, again, if you don't care, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it. But I have cones. And you might be thinking, one, I'm never going to buy a cone. I'm only going to use spools. Or you might be thinking, well, I don't even know how I would use that cone. You know, people kind of make their own thread holders and such. I just buy them. It's to me, that's a little bit easier. I'm going to cut my thread really quick. And we're going to talk about these thread holders. This one is the first one. This is just a typical, let me move my TOA. I'm using my HQ Stitch 510 today. This is a straight stitch machine, and when I'm doing like little piecing or things that have to be really accurate, because it only straight stitches, I know where that needle's going to hit every time. And I put my 1/4 foot on and just zoom through. This thing stitches so fast, so I love using it for piecing like this. But because I'm using this, I was using my TOA because I did change my masterpiece bobbin over to my Bottom Line bobbin. So I just popped it in the TOA gauge, checked my tension so I can make sure that bottom tension's right. So here's my thread stand. These are from Superior. Oh, the threads are Superior threads. So Superior Threads Bottom Line, Superior Threads Masterpiece. I'll link the colors below so you can go and see which ones are my favorite. And I'll link the thread stands too. So this is just a typical thread stand. Has a cast iron base. It should have a little pole that disappeared through the move. I have no clue. I don't know where that would have disappeared to, but it's gone. So if I'm using this, and I'm going to pull my masterpiece cone. If I'm using this thread stand, I'm just going to put my cone here, and it's going to feed up through the mass and then into my machine. So if I was using it with this machine, I would just set it back here. I use this when I use embroidery on my embroidery machines. This just sits behind the machine, and I can pull my embroidery threads and rethread them through this. It's so much easier than taking them off the spools every time or off the thread holder. So this is a typical thread stand. This is what you're going to find most often. I don't know when Superior came out with their newer one. I'm going to put this on the ground. But, again, I'm using a spool today. So this is Superior's newer thread stand. This is, what is it called? I like it so much I bought a backup. So this is the Superior Threads, or Superior Thread Holder. That's what this looks like. What is great about this is that you can use a spool of thread, and you can take it off. So let's talk about that really quick. This is a cone, and you can kind of see, I hope you can see in the video, this is cross-wound. Most cones are cross-wound, so they want to be taken off the top. So I could just set this here, take it off the top into my thread mass, and then thread it through my machine. But not everything is cross wound. Some things are straight wound. So this is a Masterpiece spool. Cross wound, we can see it cross wound. This one's straight, so it doesn't have, it just looks like it's straight wound on that cone or on that spool. I can't have this sit here and come off the top. It's going to lead to issues with the thread. Thread might break. So if you're having some issues like that, look on how your thread is loaded. This needs to either spin off this way or spin off this way. It needs to roll off instead of getting spun off the top. And same opposite to here. This one needs to roll off or spin off the top. It can't roll off the cone. It's how the threads are wound on that cone, and that's how they need to unwind, or things are going to start knotting up and getting twisted, things like that. So in this case, this one comes off the top, this one comes spinning off, and this thread holder can do it all. This thread stand can do it all. I have a straight wound bottom line cone, and if I pull it, it's unwinding. It's rolling right off of that, or not cone, spool. It's rolling right off of that spool. Sorry, I'm going to say the wrong thing so much during this video, but 'tis me. So this one, so right now it's set up for a spool that is straight wound because that needs to unwind. But if I wanted to use my cone instead, oops, that's why I have two, because I lose these little pieces. I think there's one under my my main sewing table, so I took it out of here. But again, this is the superior thread holder. So I took my top off. I'm going to take my spool off. This bar just unwinds. And I can take it out of there, put it here. And now I have the vertical bar for my cone of thread. It still gets threaded through, and then now I can use this in case your machine doesn't have a cone holder. Or you just want to use cones and you want to use different colors. I actually keep both of these behind my main machine when I'm doing other things, because I can use two different colors and then just pull them off depending on what I'm doing. The other great thing is you can load a bobbin on this too. If you're one of those people who's like, I'm never going to unwind this bobbin because I don't want to waste that thread. I'm not that person. But if you are, your bobbin loads on this little back bar. And now and there's a little cap to put here so it doesn't fling off. But now we can unwind our bobbin and use the bobbin up on top. So you can reuse those bobbins that are just sitting in your bobbin case. You know, and we all have those. That one color, we really need that mustard yellow for something, and now it's just sitting here. You know, we can use that for practice piecing. I don't know. Whatever you want to use it for. But I do love that this has 3 different ways to use it. So it uses any of our threads that we might have out there. So that's it for today. We talked about what threads to use for piecing, why we might use a thinner thread. And, you know, if you want to piece with silk that's 100 weight, go ahead and do it. Try it. See if you like it. I know I have friends that do it and they're like, oh, I'm going to use this color. And I said, you go for it. I like to applique with them. I'll use them up top and do like a little small zigzag on my applique so you can't see it if I'm doing machine applique. But like always, whatever works for you is what you should be doing. So we talked about the thread weight. We talked about how to use cones on your domestic machine. If you're using spools on your long arm, get that horizontal spool pin because again, it needs to roll off. It can't spiral off the top. Check out Mailbox Quilts, mailboxquilts.com. Again, I'll link it below. And you know, like and subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. As always, follow me on social media, AdamSoFun, SCW, Facebook and Instagram. Happy Valentine's Day. I think Valentine's Day is 2 days away. I'm filming this early because I leave to Dallas. I leave to Dallas tomorrow. So if I see you next week in Dallas, hi, even though I saw you probably 2 days ago. I know we have an Owner's Day set up. I'm very excited to see you all. What other things are happening? I'm offering some classes in February, so check AdamSoFun.com out. Click on events, and I'm doing 2 Pro Stitcher classes. I do keep those classes small, so I can answer all those questions and kind of give you not one-on-one, but like still smaller class size, so you can get your questions answered. And as always, at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to laugh. We want to have a good time. Happy February. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.